So here's the thing. Nobody ever sat you down and taught you how money actually works. Not your parents, not your school, definitely not your employer. And yet, every single decision you make, where you live, what you drive, whether you can retire before you're 70, it all comes back to understanding a handful of concepts that, honestly, most adults can't even name. I'm talking about stuff like why your bank account loses value even when you don't spend a dime, or why a little thing called compound interest can either make you a millionaire or absolutely destroy you, depending on which side of it you're on. So if you've ever looked at your paycheck and thought, wait, where did all of this actually go? This one's for you. By the end of this video, you're going to understand 10 financial concepts that the system expects you to already know. And trust me, once you get these down, everything clicks. Let's get into it. Taxes. Let's just get the painful one out of the way first. Nobody loves talking about taxes. And honestly, nobody loves paying them either. But here's the deal. Taxes aren't just the government taking your money for fun. They fund roads, schools, the military, emergency services. Without taxes, half the infrastructure you use every single day just doesn't exist. Now, the part most people don't get, there's not just one tax. There's income tax, sales tax, property tax, capital gains tax, and each one works differently. When you get a paycheck and the number is way less than what your boss said you'd be making, that's federal and state income tax doing their thing. When you buy a car and the total is more than the sticker price, sales tax. Understanding which taxes hit you and when is honestly one of the most underrated financial skills out there. I had a buddy, sharp guy, good job, who didn't realize he owed capital gains tax when he sold some stocks at a profit. Got hit with a tax bill he wasn't expecting, and it set him back months. That one moment of "I didn't know that" cost him real money. And that's exactly the kind of thing this video is here to prevent. Banks. Most people think banks are just places where you keep your money safe. And sure, on the surface, that's kind of true. But here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. When you deposit money into a bank, they don't just sit on it. They lend most of it out to other people. Mortgages, business loans, car loans. They only keep a fraction of your deposit on hand. It's called a fractional reserve system. And it's been how banking works for centuries. So how do banks make money? Simple. They borrow from you at a low interest rate. That's what they pay you on your savings. And then they lend it out at a higher rate. The difference? That's their profit. Your savings account paying you 0.5% while they're lending your money out at 6%? Yeah, that's the game, interest. And that brings us to interest, which is honestly one of the most powerful forces in personal finance. There are two types, simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is straightforward. You earn interest on the money you put in, and that's it. Compound interest? That's where it gets wild. You earn interest on your original money and on the interest you've already earned. It snowballs. Here's the crazy part. If you invest just $300 a month starting at 25 with an average 8% annual return, by the time you hit 65, you're looking at over $1 million. But if you wait until 35 to start, that same $300 a month gets you closer to $450,000. 10 years of waiting cost you over $500,000. Compound interest doesn't care about your feelings. It rewards people who start early, and it punishes people who wait. Inflation. You know how a movie ticket used to cost like $3 and now it's 15? That's inflation. It's the slow, steady rise in the price of everything over time. And it's not a bug in the system. It's actually kind of by design. The government aims for about 2% inflation per year. Why? Because a little bit of inflation keeps the economy moving. People spend money instead of hoarding it. Businesses grow, jobs get created. But when inflation gets out of control, like we saw recently, suddenly your grocery bill jumps, your rent goes up, and that paycheck feels like it's worth less every single month, which technically it is. Recessions. Economies don't just go up forever. They go through cycles, boom, bust, boom, bust. A recession is basically a period where the economy shrinks. Businesses close, unemployment goes up, people get scared. It's uncomfortable, no doubt. But here's the thing most people miss. Recessions are normal. They've happened dozens of times in American history, and every single time, the economy eventually bounced back. The people who came out ahead weren't the ones who panicked. They were the ones who understood what was happening and stayed the course. Credit scores. Now this one actually makes me a little frustrated because so many people have no idea how it works. Your credit score is basically a number between 300 and 850 that tells lenders, how likely is this person to pay us back? And it affects everything. Your ability to rent an apartment, get a car loan, buy a house, sometimes even get a job. So how do you build it? Pay your bills on time. Keep your credit card balances low. Don't open a bunch of new accounts all at once. That's it. It's not complicated. It's just that nobody teaches you this stuff until you're already in trouble. Currency and value. Here's a wild thought. Money isn't actually worth anything on its own. A dollar bill is just a piece of paper. It only has value because we all collectively agree it does. That's it. That's the whole thing. Currency is a social contract built on trust. And value, the reason you get paid what you get paid, comes down to how useful you are to someone else. The more problems you solve, the more people will pay you. It really is that simple, even though it doesn't always feel that way. Investing. So if inflation is slowly eating away at the value of your money, what do you do about it? You invest. And no, investing isn't just for rich people or Wall Street guys in expensive suits. Investing is literally how you protect yourself from inflation and build wealth over time. Index funds, ETFs, retirement accounts, there are tools out there designed for regular people. The biggest mistake I see? People sitting on cash thinking they're being safe, while inflation quietly destroys their purchasing power year by year. Time. And this is the big one. Of every resource you have, time is the only one you can never get back. Money can be earned, saved, invested, even borrowed. But time? Once it's gone, it's gone. And in the world of finance, time is the single most powerful asset you have, especially when it comes to investing and compound interest. The earlier you start, the less effort it actually takes to build real wealth. That's not motivational poster stuff. That's math. All right, so here's the quick recap. Understanding taxes keeps you from getting blindsided. Knowing how banks and interest actually work puts you in control. Inflation and recessions are real, but they're not the end of the world if you understand them. Your credit score is way more in your hands than you think. And the combo of investing early, creating real value, and respecting your time? That's the actual playbook for building financial security. This stuff isn't taught in school. It's not handed to you. But now you have it. And that's a genuinely big deal. If this video clicked for you, hit that like button. Seriously, it tells YouTube to show this to more people who need it, and it helps me keep making videos like this. And if you want to go deeper on any of these topics, investing, taxes, building wealth from scratch, I've got more coming. So make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching. Now, go do something with what you learned.